Ridiculous.
Sir, on one side.
Where do we start here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a three shot.
There's all three of them.
What happens if we don't get a call?
No, the board stays.
You want up there?
Hey, where'd you go? No gavel.
All right, are we set? Are we waiting for everybody? We good? My last session, I don't get a gavel?
The only one's left here is Joey.
Is it Denise coming in? All right. Are you ready, Darlene? I'll let Greg get it. I don't need it. It's if he's got it.
I used to.
Oh, now I know where it's at. I'm gonna steal it. Thank you. It's the last time. Actually, I get to do it at the annual meeting. So it's not my last
Get
time.
one more. People think you dressed up for tonight.
All right, exactly. Let's call the open session of the monthly meeting of the Rancho Murieta Association to order. Can we get a roll call, please, Darlene? Here.
Here.
Here?
Here.
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 All right, thank you. Public comments. The public shall have the opportunity to directly address the board on any items of interest. Public comments on items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the board are welcome, subject to reasonable time limitations for each speaker. If you wish to address the board at this time, please state your name and lot number and reserve your comments to no more than 3 minutes so that others may be allowed to speak. No action will be taken. Each item of business will be introduced by the president. Public comment for that item will be open, and the public will have the opportunity to speak on that item. Public comment for that item will then be closed, and no additional public comment will be allowed. At that time, the board will discuss the item and then take action. Are there anybody wishing to make a comment? Okay, go ahead, Mark. Tell us your...
Park Heritage Lot 110. Hey, just wanted to thank those of you that have been coming to the CSD meeting to hear the discussion that we've been having over there about the CFD bond and other things. So just wanted to say thank you for coming. And so we're returning the favor and coming and listening tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment. Consent calendar. Consent calendar items are considered routine and will be approved by one motion. There will be no discussion of the items unless the director requests a specific item to be removed. Does any director wish an item removed? Okay, hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I so move.
All right, Larry.
Second.
All right, Sam seconds it. Any further discussion?
I do have a question on delinquent accounts aging. So I think it's going to be for you, colleague. On lot number, and I'm just going down in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why have we not gone to pre-lien notice or anything on that?
So we've actually filed a lien on the property, but the property owner has
Perfect.
filed for bankruptcy settlement.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, anything else?
Nope.
Okay. That was an item that should have been removed for separate discussion. but-
wasn't sure. I didn't want to do it though.
There you go.
You know what? I'll quit.
I'm right behind you.
Don't
Could you
push-
wait a couple of days?
I'll think
There you
about
go.
it.
All right, we have a motion and second to approve the consent calendar. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Next item, approval of the minutes for the October 17th board meeting.
I move approval. I'd like to make the one change to the public comments. Says President Lucas opened it. It was actually Acting President Sheldon.
Vice President.
Huh?
Vice President Sheldon, acting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he actually is in a permanent position. It's not an upgrade
The acting
position.
president, okay.
He was acting
He was
president.
acting, right, okay. I was asking.
How was my performance?
As an actor?
There we go. So we have a motion to approve the minutes with an amendment to, yeah.
So then on the second page of the minutes, it also says, President, at the top, it says President Lucas reported to the board. I believe that would have to be changed too.
It does, I didn't catch that one.
Well, who reported to the board?
Those are
You did do-
important
You
changes.
did do a report to the board that night, right?
Sheldon didn't get mentioned near as much as he should.
So that would be, we would need to change that to Shelton, right?
Did you notice I wasn't complaining?
Yeah.
Any other corrections that we need to deal with? Right, so we have a motion to approve the minutes as amended. Do you have all those changes, Darlene? Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other comment? I like the fact that I was absent and actively involved at the same time. I think that was good. Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. To approve the minutes as amended, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next item for business is the president's report. Prior to the meeting, the board met in executive session. I was actually absent for the first half of the executive session.
Why was that, Mr. President?
Because I was in trial with a judge, and then I had a flat tire
Okay.
when I went out to the court.
What were you on trial for?
I wasn't on trial for anything. I'm here, so I wasn't held in
I think
contempt.
Tim actually said that he wasn't gonna believe you if you didn't come in with a dirty tie.
Well,
He
there you
didn't
go.
say that.
I was going to change the tire myself, but I was
Smart.
like in the suit. I'm like, I'm paying $100 to AAA. That's what they're for, right? Anyway, I wasn't here for the first part of the meeting. When I was there, we talked contracts. We talked some contract issues, and we handled an appeal. Prior to my arrival, there was a discussion of legal issues, and I don't know if we got to the collections yet, but we're not concluded with the executive session, and we'll be going back into executive session to finish what's on the agenda after this open session is concluded. That's the end of my report. The collections were done. Okay. Do I need to announce those? What's that? Means I gotta find where they are now.
You want me to get that, Tim? We approved collections on lot 305 and,
I got it right here. So let me just confirm, we approved the decision to initiate foreclosure of the lien, is that the one you're? Against parcel number 0730300021. And then we also approved the decision to initiate foreclosure of the lien against parcel number 07305400070000. And it looks like that's all of them? No. Okay, that's the end of my report.
Okay, the first item I have is the Greens Park update. We had a ribbon cutting today at 4 o'clock. The park was being well used, so that completes Phase 1. Phase 2, which is not currently funded, would include completion of the sidewalk and the planting of the grass behind the playground area.
Greg, we talked, and I don't know if it's in phase 2 or where exactly, but possibly doing a disc golf.
Yeah, after we get the permit closed out, then we'll move ahead with the Frisbee golf.
Perfect, thank you.
One other thing on that, talked to Rod just a little bit after our opening of the park this afternoon about looking at installing some solar lighting for along the parking area, and maybe, I don't know, it seems to me there should be some, that's a real dark area over there, So I don't know what that'll cost, but maybe get back to the board with some ideas or to maintenance to see what that would cost.
I think the long-term plan is to gate that off at night, because we don't want night use of that park. And so we plan on having a CSD do a lock and unlock across that entrance.
Yeah, I know that, but it seems to me maybe we want some lighting out there so we can, I think there'll be at least maybe some vandalism, maybe some kids in there after hours doing who knows what. So,
Okay, we can pull some costs together and see what it costs, but some solar lights.
okay.
That park is still gonna have the same hours till 10 o'clock, as all the other parks, right? No, it will not.
And CST has no problem doing that for us?
Typically, they're pretty good about doing locks and unlocks for us. They do it at the other parks.
And congratulations again, guys. Awesome.
Thank you, Mark. And I'm sorry I missed the park opening today. I was looking forward to wielding the ceremonial scissors one more time.
That little lady that
We had a
cut the
kid
ribbon
do it.
for you.
Yeah, Kid, I
did it.
heard she did a good job,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, the next item is the master trail plan. The master trail plan was approved in September by the RMA board. The CSD board took no action on the trail plans. They felt the map was incomplete. After discussion between the representatives of RMA and CSD, several additional natural and paved trails were added to the map. And I'll go over those after I tell you what the recommendation is. And the recommendation is to approve the revised master trail plan and forward it to the CSD board and the Parks Committee for action. Also move that once the trail is approved by the Parks Committee, it will be presented to the Sacramento County Planning Department. So right now, I'll go over those changes that we made to the map and see if you guys are in agreement with it.
All right, so do we have any motion that anybody wants to make? Are you going to make more of a presentation? Yeah. Okay, sorry.
And actually, John and Mark were at the meeting with Cheryl and Rob, and so the recommended changes to the park were to add a paved trail going to the residents east and west, to add another paved trail going from the country club. Let me find the country club real quick. Going from the country club up to De La Cruz, to add a natural trail below the Grand Lease estate, to add another connection from the Grand Lease Dam down to the trail that goes through Village B, to add another natural trail up behind Chesbrough Reservoir, going down by the water treatment plant. And all the natural trails here are existing trails already. They just weren't depicted on the map. The paved trail is a new trail. It's not shown on the conceptual plan. It's something that we think would be very integral to the community as far as a connection point. And the trail going from the country club up to De La Cruz, that's an existing dirt road, and this natural trail currently exists but wasn't shown on the map. Did I capture everything?
And you also added the trail from Laguna Joaquin up to Stonehouse that wasn't depicted previously.
Right, yeah, you're talking about the existing paved trail, right. So that won't be anything to be constructed, it's just a trail that's existing that we added to show the connectivity from the front lake up to Stonehouse Park. Okay, any questions on the changes?
My only, I guess, oh yeah, it is a question. My only concern is, I mean, I like the changes, the new paved trail at the hills. I mean, does that involve a different developer, and do we have to buy off from that developer?
These are condition maps. Both of these maps are already approved, and the conditions have been placed on these parcels. And so at this point, we cannot add that as a condition for their approval because they've already been approved. And so the only way we would get this to be a developer paid for a trail would be if the map expires and a new map comes into being and we can make those comments. Otherwise, it'd probably be a trail that would be built with the community money. The RMA funds would build that trail, or the HOA where that trail is located would pay for that trail.
All right.
And when you say map expires, we need the parcel map for that development, correct?
Yes, and this trail, it doesn't show the lotting on this map. This trail was placed between how they've got it currently lotted out.
Okay.
Those currently have a brand new extension on them.
Yes, they do. So I think it's good for 5, 6 years or 5 years, so.
So what are the timelines, Greg?
I would hope to get this over to CSD in December for their action. If they direct their representative to vote for it, then we'll be taking it to the Parks Committee in January.
Okay. And then where does it go from there?
It goes to the county planning.
All right, anything else? Do we have a motion?
Hey, hang on, I think the puppeteer.
It's got something to
I don't
say.
care about her.
Vanna.
Yeah, I guess part of the motion that we need to make is that the RMA board is directing the RMA Parks representatives to support the map at the Parks Committee.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Otherwise, we're ready for a motion if you guys
All
have no
right,
other
so
questions.
somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the trail plan as presented, and that we give further direction for the Parks Committee representatives to take this to the Parks Committee for approval and submittal to the county.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second, and I assume it's part of your motion, if I get a minute, is to forward it to CSD Board for action as well.
Yes.
Thank you. As amended.
Yeah. Thank you.
We will do that. Any further comments? John or Mark, if you want to make comments, I guess you can step up to the podium if you have anything to add that we haven't discussed.
Sure. So to Greg's point, that was some of the pieces that were missing from the puzzle when you guys had brought it over to CSD. So there was an easement that existed along Stonehouse Road, but after discussion, we pretty much decided that that's best to be abandoned because frankly, there's people that have yards and other things that are already going on there, and you probably have a pretty good prescriptive easement case against you guys. So rather than try and battle that to death, that connectivity from Laguna Joaquin does a great job in connecting up to Stonehouse, so it still gives the same purpose. So that was one of the things that was outstanding, and I think it's a good compromise. The other thing is we've been kind of discussing some of the other logistics stuff, and I mentioned that when you guys were at CSD previously presenting the map. I think there's some work to be done there with the Parks Group, and hopefully those additional things can kind of be sorted out. But as far as the map goes, it looks pretty good as far as I'm concerned.
All right, thanks. Any other comments? Any other board comments? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, my last item, I believe, is the water quality and the lakes. Since the unfortunate fish kill this summer, the CSD's kind of led the charge of meeting to discuss what we can do to improve the quality of the reservoirs and lakes in Rancho Murieta. We've met with, we've had one presentation from a water quality guy. We've got input from another individual. We've actually got some comments from Sac State, from one of the professors there. And so we've had 3 meetings to date. I've got meeting notes from 2 of those meetings. We haven't got the meeting notes from the 3rd meeting yet. We're going to meet again in about 2 weeks. We're trying to meet every 2 weeks until we get some type of resolution or some type of recommendation that we can bring forward as to what we think needs to be a long-term plan for managing the lakes. Larry, do you have any comments you'd like to add?
Just that we've got really great representation so far in these meetings. They include a geologist, a biologist, an environmentalist, and numerous people in the community. And John Sullivan has been just a great asset to us in helping make decisions about how to use the water in the community and how the water is directed to the farmers and when that happens and complications associated with that. So we've came a long way.
Any questions?
I'm just glad I didn't see anything about midge flies. I'm good.
I don't think we even mentioned midge flies.
Okay, that's the end of my report.
All right, thanks, Greg. Committees, Finance Committee.
Okay, the Finance Committee met on November 16th, okay, at 4 o'clock. And I was not able to be there, so I asked Martin Pohl if he would chair the committee for me.
Well,
And
that
I'll-
was a mistake. I can
And he was just great about that. And unfortunately, there were a number of people who couldn't make that meeting, so they didn't have quorum, but they were able to go over issues and give advisement. And so the first item was that they had a presentation by our financial advisor, Paul Cutter, who presented a portfolio of investments currently being held by RMA. And Colleen Haggard noted that there is about $250,000 in the operating funds that could be transferred from a money market to a long-term CD. And also an additional $200,000 that we have in a money market that could also go to a CD maturing in 2019, give us a little bit better return for our investment. Denise Hetland presented information for the replacement of the current compliance vehicle that is way, way old and has many, many miles on it. And so that will be coming to us for approval. And Ms. Hetland and Mr. Hart presented costs for replacements of playground equipment at Stonehouse Park and at Lake Clementia. And they have managed to find a company that was going to give them quite a good deal on replacing this equipment. And they're also, their committee was also going to give them some additional funding to maybe put in more funds at some of the other playgrounds. And let's see. Ms. Haggard presented to the committee a proposal to write off some delinquent accounts that are beyond any legal ability to collect, and the committee approved that as well. And that completes my report.
do we need to do a motion here to write off the debts? You want to make a motion to write off?
So I'd like to make a motion to write off the delinquent accounts debts.
$21,660.52.
Right, okay.
All right, we have a second.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion to write off delinquent accounts in the amount of $21,660.52 against allowance for bad debt. Any further comment?
No.
All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motions, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, Architectural Review Committee.
Do we need to approve either one of these other expenditures, the
The vehicle?
playground equipment and the
I
vehicle?
think that'll come up in the other
I think it
committee.
comes up later, doesn't it?
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
okay, right.
Yeah, so, all right, thank you, Cheryl. Sam, Architectural Review Committee.
The Architectural Review Committee met on October the 19th? Yeah, met on October the 19th. We approved minutes and had discussions about driveway variances. It was a rather short meeting for once. During that, we've had 3 existing common area leases change hands, and I have a motion that the common area leases for these change of ownerships be approved, and that's for lot 78T, like in T-Tom, and lot 220, and lot 1833. All of these are change of ownerships, and all the fees have been paid through escrow.
All right, so did you say lot 1833? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what that. Okay, we have a motion to approve lot 78, existing common area lease due to change of ownership for lot 78T, lot 220, lot 1833. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, second. Any comment, questions, any of that? All right, all in favor of approving the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
The ARC meeting scheduled normally for tomorrow has been canceled. We don't have any activity. Since this will be my last regular board meeting, I want to thank the citizens of and residents of Rancho Murieta for giving me this opportunity. It's been, I will say, a pleasure most of the time. 6 years is a long time, but I'm glad I was here. I'm glad I was able to contribute, and I hope it wasn't too bad.
It was.
And I want to really thank the members of my ARC committee. They have been very diligent, and they're very competent in knowing the rules and regulations for ARC. And whoever takes over that, at this point, they've all agreed to apply again for their position as a committee member. I hope they all keep that in mind, and so it's been a pleasure, folks. Thank you again.
All right, thank you, Sam.
Well, while we're all getting sappy, hey, I appreciate your time on the board, Sam, and big shoes to fill over there.
Yeah, well, anyway, thank you guys. It's been a real pleasure serving with you guys, and I'll just add that I think the residents of Rancho Murieta are blessed with, at least generally speaking, maybe Tim's an exception, but you've had some people on the board that I've served with that are really do care about this community, and I think I do believe the citizens owe these folks a debt of gratitude because they really have had this community's best interest at heart, at least for the last 6 years that I've been on the board.
He must be talking about you, Bob.
I said you might be an exception.
There we go. All right, is that the
That's
end of
it.
your report? Thank you, Sam, and thank you for your service. Communications.
The
Cheryl.
Communications Committee did not meet this month.
All right, thank you. Compliance, Tim.
Thank you. We met November 6th. As you can see, we had numerous closed hearing sessions for quite a few issues. I will ask the board members to go to the minutes of the meeting, and it's on the second page, item C. You will see what the amount of fines are for this residence. That is probably about just off of what we were dealing with in this meeting, and they came in to appeal. They made very unrealistic offers to reduce the fine, and as committee chair I said no, and I implored them to appeal it to the board. As of yet they haven't done it. This fine amount is probably almost 2, maybe 3 times the actual amount that you see here from past fines added in. So with that said,
Tim, is that all the same person, or?
it's the residents, and so it
Okay.
goes by lots. So
Okay.
again, I've got 4 licensed drivers, so
Okay.
you know, it all
Oh,
comes
geez.
back to the residents. So, point being that this individual, which would be in closed session number C, when representing the homeowner, it was the son, tried to negotiate down. It was just unrealistic, because again, at the end of the day, from compliance, we're just asking for the behavioral modification and to kind of do your due diligence, and they didn't. So just FYI to the board, especially the board members staying, that this is going to be a carryover from compliance. I think there's been a significant change. You've heard me talk about it, and it's really dealing with the CSD security staff. Their attitude, their behavior has been utmost noticed. They're wanting to do things, hence the radar gun purchase, where Rob's going to do the in-service training for us on it. That they're wanting to do those things. So Larry, what you were talking about, more observation in the off hours, we're seeing that getting done. We just have to get that to them.
So we really are gonna have Barney Fife out.
Well, yeah, when they get to that state level training, of course, sure. But
I
at
meant
least,
Rod.
at least they'll be able to
I
keep
think
the donuts
he's
appropriate.
ignoring you.
I know he is. That's okay. So with that said, that's what the last compliance committee was. So that's the end of my report.
We have at least through compliance, I don't know, a recommendation for vehicle replacement. Are we doing that, or is that a month later?
Do you want to do it, or do you want me to?
No, I'll do it. As Cheryl talked about under the finance, it's time to replace the 17-year-old vehicle with 261,000 miles on it. Excuse me. What I would like to do is make a motion, and I'm going to put it for replacement vehicle, not to exceed the amount of $22,000, which will include vehicle, sales tax, destination, trip to Hawaii, full tank of gas, to replace the vehicle that needs to be taken out of the fleet.
Yeah, I've been in that compliance vehicle, and I can only testify to the fact that it truly needs to be replaced. That is really, it's almost a hazard on the highway, so.
You were driving it, Sam, that's why.
All right, well, we have a motion to approve purchase of a new vehicle, compliance vehicle for amount not to exceed $22,000. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other comments on that?
Can you imagine 261,000 miles within the perimeter of Laguna Joaquin? Or within the
Rancho Murieta.
Murieta?
You didn't dare drive it out of here.
Yeah. It wouldn't be in compliance.
Right.
Yeah, we had Cheryl seconded. So any other comments, questions? All right, and we're looking at a used vehicle, I guess? Is that what we're looking at? I see
Yeah, it's got 200,000.
the Ford Edge from Carfax, 2013. Is that what we're actually looking at, or that's just a representative sort of sample? Okay.
Where would the funding come from? What? Okay.
All right, anything else? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. At the end of your report, Tim?
Yes, sir.
You're not gonna get all sappy on this one?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
Next, committee governing documents, under my continuing Less is More program, we did not have a meeting. That's into my report. And I do thank everybody for the 6 years of service, and the new board members, and the past board members, and the staff, and everybody else. That both governing docs and communications, when I shared that, is invaluable, and I wish to say I was going to miss it, but I'm not going to miss it. But thank you to all involved. All right, Parks Committee.
Parks Committee has not met, but as you heard tonight, we will be meeting in the new year.
All right, thank you. Recreation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Recreation Committee did meet yesterday, and good news for the children of Rancho Murieta. We're going to be upgrading our playground equipment, or at least with the approval of this board tonight. The official, I guess the official motion here is that the Recreation Committee approved to purchase not to exceed $80,000 and use the difference between the $80,000 and the reserve amount of $115,980 to purchase play equipment for the gazebo or Riverview Park or the Greens Park that may be needed. We also authorize the additional amount to take advantage of the 40% discount that Miracle Recreation is offering. The thinking was that even if Miracle makes the same or similar offer next year, the prices will be higher. So I guess we have the money, we have a discount, and we want to go ahead and make the purchase and upgrade over at Stonehouse and over at what was the other one?
Clementia.
Clementia, thank you. And for those who are in the audience, we do have wonderful visuals if you want to see what we're going to be doing.
Let's don't show those, they're awful. Your pictures cut out from the internet.
It looked like good artwork.
All right, so that's your motion to approve funds out of reserves not to exceed an amount of $80,000 to purchase playground equipment for Clementia and Stonehouse. Do I have that right?
That's correct. And then from the $80,000 to the $115,980,000, we would look at upgrading the gazebo or Riverview Park or the Greens Park.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Why was this equipment offered at such a discount?
They get slow in these last months of the year.
Slightly used.
Yeah. Rusty, a little rusty.
Slide.
Yeah, If-
So there's just certain specific it's not their entire catalog? It's just a select few, but it works really well for what we need?
Typically, playground equipment gets purchased in the spring.
Right.
Speaking from being a school administrator and stuff like that, that's when you're doing all your buying, so they can get installed in the
So end of
summer.
the year, last year's model, that type of thing, they discount.
They want that bottom line to be higher, so that's what they're doing.
So let me see if I understand the motion. It would be $18,530 for Lake Clementia, $97,450 for Stonehouse Park, and that total is $115,980. Is that correct? But we get a 40% discount. So the additional funds that we would get from that 40% discount would allow us another $35,980 to apply to any one of the parks, Clementia, Stonehouse.
Correct. Yeah,
Riverview,
we're directing
or-
staff to take a look at that and to
Right.
see where the
Or
needs
the
are.
gazebo, okay.
Right.
All right, so why don't we, Alex, why don't you restate your motion, because I'm not exactly sure what amounts we're approving.
In 10
Yeah, it
words-
looks
in
like
10
just
words
not
or
to
less,
exceed. Make sure I understand
I
that
was
from
going to
what-
vote for it.
I guess that would be my question. You said $80,000 was your motion, as opposed to $115,980? What's I guess I'm a little bit lost in this.
The motion is the highlighted part on your paper there, but. if you-
Sam turned it in.
So we're spending 80,000, up to 80,000 on Clementia and on Stonehouse.
So there's 115,000 that's totally that's in reserves.
The motion is $115,980 total. That's what I
Right,
wanted.
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I thought the motion was going to spend 80,000 of the 115,000.
Yeah, that's the way I,
Okay, so
That's why I
staff,
say restate the motion so I understand what the motion.
well, let me do some explanation. Staff's motion to, or recommendation to the different committees that we went to, Finance and Rec, was for 80,000, because we can do both parks for 80,000 and get better than what we have there now. And the Recreation Committee said, well, if you have additional monies, maybe there's some other parks that need, some other things. Right off the top of my head, didn't know without looking, so if you guys do authorize 115,000, that doesn't mean it's going to necessarily get spent. There might not be something that's, appropriate. We might not have the space for it because we are limited to space. Each play equipment has a safety zone, so we have to allow space for that also.
Is that a safety zone like where Sam can't go by himself?
Sam
It's a
and his,
different zone,
and
okay.
his friends.
It's friends.
both.
Wow, getting bold here. So the motion,
I
as
believe
I
we have a question
understand
up
it,
here.
can you come to the mic, please? Let me just, while you do that, restate. So the motion is to actually approve $115,980 to come out of reserves for playground equipment. That's the motion.
Of which 35,000 is kind of at the discretion of where we might need it.
Correct.
If it's needed.
If it's
Right.
Okay,
80,000 is needed.
Okay, so I understand
Correct.
the motion. The motion is $115,980 to come from reserves, 80,000 to be earmarked for specific equipment with this 40% discount, and $35,980 to be used at the discretion of the Recreation Committee, is that?
Well, essentially staff, because we don't
Or
have much,
staff.
we don't have much time.
Okay, okay, I understand. So
That's
that's
the other thing
motion.
we didn't mention is this has to get done really quickly if we want the discount.
Okay, and do we have, no, I think you did mention, no, we have a second on the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion, we got a second, now we can have public comment to follow whatever rules we follow here.
Patrick Salem, lot 1160. I just have a clarifying question. Is this replacement equipment or additional equipment?
Yes.
Replacement. Okay, awesome. That's it. Thanks.
At those two parks. At those two parks. The other fund is to be looked at as they look at other needs.
Well, there's replacement and addition, I think, isn't it?
Yes, we're able to get some new pieces
If we can get
because
it.
of the discount.
We were originally, we have to replace stuff, so that's above and beyond,
Can,
is this 40% discount, that's what we're talking.
can we purchase additional equipment out of reserves? I guess that's one. I don't know where that have to come out of.
Sure, we can. We're going to ignore Colleen because I don't know what she's going to say, but sure.
I mean, I guess it's already, we do whatever we want, but I mean, is that a permissible use to add new equipment from the reserves? Or, I mean, is it all earmarked for the?
I mean, we're actually replacing playground systems.
Right.
And so, I mean, you don't do a piece-by-piece replacement, you replace whole systems. And so I think that could probably be an explanation for doing reserves, since you're doing a whole system.
Okay. And then the 35,000 plus that's remaining, we need to act on that now so we get the discount before another board meeting? Is that the idea? Okay.
Has to be on the ground by January 15th.
Okay.
What do you mean on the ground, like in the pallets? Okay.
Got it.
Rod, did you have a comment?
He's getting his money, I think Rod's fine.
Okay.
All right, anything else? All right, all in favor of the motion to approve $115,000 plus from reserves for playground equipment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously.
Mr. President, I would like to back up a little bit and have the maintenance meeting discussion.
Did I skip over the maintenance?
Yeah,
I'm not
intentionally.
operating from my binder.
Oh, is that where you crossed out Larry? Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And I'm going to honor Tim with a really big surprise. We did not meet this month, so we have no
That's why I
reason
missed
to
it, because there was
discuss it.
nothing in there. There we go. So, there's the.
I do have a thing under the correspondence. I didn't answer that.
Under correspondence, I put the memo with the wrong letter, so when you read the correspondence, make sure you attach
Yeah,
Tim's response to the letter about the wildfires.
I know, I went,
I mean, I will answer.
No, so I mean, I don't know, to make it, I guess, less obtuse for the public. We had a letter from a resident about the fires, and Mr. Maybe responded with an email, and that's in our correspondence. Put that here.
I will, if I could have a minute, Mr. President?
Yes, you may.
Since, as Sam said, it's my last regular meeting, I would like to personally thank staff at all levels. Not so much Darlene, but pretty much everybody else. But
Yeah, you have to thank her specifically.
oh, I thought that's what I did. Darlene, thank you. For the residents in Marietta, you truly need to know staff at all levels. It's a shoestring budget. They do extraordinary work. You've made the last 6 years tolerable sitting next to Sam. And so for that, I thank you.
You're welcome.
With that, the four that are staying on the board, Alex, thanks for putting a little note in the paper for us three knuckleheads. That was kind. I appreciate that. The plaque on the bridge looks good. I did center punch it, coming in a little hot, but it's fine. It held up. To the four board members staying, you have a yeoman's job ahead of you. And I would just ask that we do our due diligence as we have and continue that going forward. Bob, thanks for being a voice of reason, because obviously I need that. Samuel, it's been fun, and I'll leave it at that because we have mics on. So, thank you.
Thanks, Tim, and I will echo what Tim and Sam said. Special thanks to, this is my last board meeting too, for Darlene and Rod and Colleen and Denise and Greg and others that aren't here. Mark is usually here, he's not here. They've all been invaluable resources, incredibly talented staff that we're lucky to have, and I hope to have for years to come, even though I'm no longer going to be on the board.
I would like to speak for the board and thank the three of you also. It's, your contribution has been invaluable.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would just echo, I've enjoyed, I guess, my 6 years on the board, and I guess I'm glad I never had to sit next to Sam. And I'm glad you put up with me for the last year as a poor caretaker of the presidency position after the stellar 5 years we had with Jim Moore. So, thank you to everybody. Did you want to say something?
And I didn't mean to leave out the staff, but I was thinking everybody but you. Well, but now I'm in public, I gotta address them directly. Thank you, guys. It really is a pleasure to come and some of you just meet and talk, and others you meet and debate, and others you meet and argue. So it really has been a good time to meet with you guys, and you guys really are a top-notch group, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
And I want to thank Gail and Karen and Ralph too. They're our unsung heroes of the media out here that are here every meeting, sometimes the only people here every meeting. They put up with us, they laugh with us, and they report it out very well on the meeting. So thank you to do an invaluable service.
Pictures, I'll be honest.
So,
Okay?
yeah, you can use better photographs, but other than that,
I
that's
haven't
okay.
taken very
Denise.
many
Just
tonight.
saying.
Can we have Director maybe do one more little,
Oh, the note that I was supposed to, yeah, I knew
I
that.
thought he had to sing or something. I was asking.
Oh, so you,
No, I didn't forget nothing. As the ad hoc chairperson for the elections, nominating committee chair, comments. I won't read it. But Ken Poole and Dick Silva, which are the inspectors of elections, we are very close to a quorum. We've received 262. We need 21 more ballots. So
Oh,
I'm not
great.
saying vote often, but if you haven't voted, please vote. And I'll tell you why it's so important, because the off-going board members don't go off until we get a quorum. Really, the community doesn't need this for another.
I will take up arms in the
Yes.
community if we don't
So
have
with that, please vote if you haven't.
I'm going to
Denise,
say the number of ballots we've received again?
I said it was 862.
I know you said 262.
You said
That's okay.
262.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I was
862.
like, what?
Okay, and Alex has more of his report too, he's just not aware of it. We have the toy and food drive going, starting now until December 18th. Bring non-perishable food items and new unwrapped toys to the RMA building to benefit the Elk Grove School District Healthy Start program. We've got the holiday bus trip to San Francisco on Wednesday, December 6th. We've got about 2.5 buses full, so we can take everybody that's interested. It leaves community at 9 o'clock and returns at 9:30, drops off in Union Square. You can call Barbara for, costs us $43. We have the annual Holiday Lights Contest, too, coming up. And the committee members will be in the neighborhoods. You don't have to register. They'll be in the neighborhoods from December 11th through December 18th, or December 19th. No, 18th, sorry. And they'll go through all the neighborhoods, all the streets, and make their selection, and then we'll announce the winners the night of the board meeting on the 19th. Parents can also get a personalized letter from Santa. There's a form attached to the mailer that we did, so.
And then is Santa going to be making a visit here anytime soon, or do we have that lined up? Or are we working with him?
I haven't gotten an email back yet.
Okay. Santa does email these days. I'm impressed.
Yes. He's with the times.
You're getting there. Maybe you could be Santa Claus.
He doesn't have enough hair.
With that, we're adjourned. We got to go back into executive session. Thank you.
Oh, I love it. We're back in executive session?
Yeah.
Yeah, more homework to do.
Yeah.
Lean forward there, Bob.